serve, and grow is what you can expect at the House of Reconciliation. Leadership, community, education, wellness, and participation is part of our plan for your spiritual growth and success. Family and faith is a core value for the House of Reconciliation, working to help people find their purpose. Want to make an impact in the kingdom? Ready to tap into your future? Meet us at the House Sundays with Pastor Reginald Campbell. www.houseofreconciliation.org.
Alrighty. You ready?
So, buenos días. Gracias por despertarnos esta mañana. Gracias por mantenernos a salvo. Gracias por protegernos. Te adoro, Dios, en tu nombre. Amen.
That would be nice so we know.
So I said, good morning. Thank you for waking us up this morning. Thank you for keeping us safe. Thank you for protecting us. And we worship you, Lord, in your name. Amen.
Amen. All right. For those who speak Spanish, we are trying to get a Spanish interpreter for the ministry. So we hope you would love to come and be a part of our ministry. We thank God for all of you. We welcome in the Greenwood campus. We welcome in the in-person campus here at Greenville, and to those that are our virtual campus. We thank you, and to all of our global connections. We're not going to waste any time today. We're going to get into the word of the Lord. And our scripture is going to come out of John, the 8th chapter, and I think it's verse 32. And our subject was on Wednesday, which we did the introduction, and this is the 1st of February. I'm going to ask you a couple questions. We are technically 10 weeks away from Resurrection Sunday. And there are those who had committed to save. There are those who had committed to working their way back to school, getting their life together. And it's not so much about what you have accomplished as it is establishing the principle and the behavior. And so once that principle and that behavior is established, now you should be able to move forward. And on Resurrection Sunday, you can seek God to ask him, what will he resurrect and what can he resurrect in your life moving forward? And generally what happens is people wait to the last minute. There are some that have set up different types of savings accounts. There are some that have said that they were going to go back to school. So what we want to do is be able to offer and show God that we are becoming, a word that many times is not used, disciples. We get people happy. We get them excited. We try to pass all of these traditions and church rules on people. And God never told us that. He said, go and make disciples. When you are a disciple, you are above the motivation. Your lifestyle becomes a believer, not the excitement of church. You are a living testimony. I thought it was interesting that we're 10 weeks out. And so what I want to do is read John 8:32, but I want us to read it, and it's a real simple passage of scripture. It says, and ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. Many people today, and this is why our subject was, lie to me, lie to me, lie to me, lie to me, lie to me. Because there are a variety of things out there that will play to your emotions. They will play to your ego. They will play to your situation, but they don't move us forward. They don't move us forward. And one of the things that most people are drawn into, because they don't want to deal with their life and their everyday life, is people get up for events more than they do for life. They get up for an event. And so, but after the event, where do you go? What do you have after that moment? So what we have to do is says, what about you and your future? This moment is just what it is, a moment. And many people have wrapped themselves into portraying what they are really not. Because we don't like to deal with reality. So we hear things, and there was a movie called The Island. There was another movie I won't mention. And a lot of things we deal with, we never research on the premises of excitement and enthusiasm. And there's actually events that people love to watch that are totally fictional. They don't deal with reality. And now that we're in the technology age, we have artificial intelligence that people can communicate with better than they can communicating with people. But here's the whole problem. You live in the world with people. So when do you communicate with people? You can win and you can feel safe in artificial intelligence, but at some point you have to come back in real and deal with reality. So when we looked at this, I only want to read, and I'll paraphrase the rest of it on the back of the page. It said, because, it says, and first of all, what is it, John 8:32? And say this with me, and ye shall. How can you know the truth if you're unwilling to listen to it? How can you really transition our lives if we're unwilling to be real with ourselves? So he says, and ye shall know the what? And what? So why do we, see, this is why I say lie to me, lie to me. We think everything except for the truth sets us free. I have an event to go to. I have something to do. I'm a person of importance. So when that's over with, did you really deal with the truth? The truth of your life, the truth of where you are at this moment. Does this make sense? Because what happens is, if we will not deal with the truth, we fall into this category of a grasshopper kind of mentality. A grasshopper or a rodent never plants a seed. It eats everything and disperses waste. If there's nothing to eat, then what happens to the grasshopper? How many of us are still grasshoppers in our minds? Because we're portraying something that we're not. So here is the thing. It says, because, if you look on the back, it says, because they were descendants of Abraham, with whom God, now notice this, we're going to show you a division here, whom God had established a permanent covenant. You can't be the seed of Abraham and be a doubter at the same time. It says God had established. Many of us haven't established a healthy relationship with God before we're trying to rob the spiritual bank for economic value. And you can find this in Genesis 12, 1 through 3, 15, 1 through 21, Genesis 17, 1 through 14, They considered themselves to be exempt from any spiritual danger. Most people going to church today have no idea about spiritual danger. Lie to me, lie to me, lie to me. We don't believe there are evil forces in the world. We don't believe that people set out to do evil things. They do, because they have allowed themselves to be manipulated, as some would say, by the dark side. If you're a Star Wars person, by the dark side. They allow things to manipulate them. This is why on the second page, if you look at it, and I did it backwards, it says things that are out of my control. The past, come on. Okay. So why are you so concerned about other people's behavior and belief? The reason we can get into other people's stuff is because it takes the attention off of us. So we can fix your life, but never get control of what? Come on, let's say it with some oomph to it. We can gossip about you and what we heard and what somebody said, and they struggling and all of that. And so you're feeling bad about yourself, and I have something for that. But it says, out of my control is what? Let's say it again. The what? So what is algorithms? Y'all didn't look it up. Y'all just reading something. Somebody look it up real quick. Come on. How much time do you spend worrying about people who are not worried about you? Worrying about their opinion. Lie to me, lie to me, lie to me, lie to me. What they think about me. How they view me. And I got status. Status what? How do you stand on status? How do you take status to the bank and it turns into an equity loan? It turns into a loan. How do you take status how do you take those shoes to the bank and make it real? How do you take all of that moxie and attitude and boy wonder and girl wonder to the bank and it turns into something that can build something? Because if you look at the other side, God had established a permanent covenant. Most people don't want a covenant with God. They just want the benefits of God. So anybody look up that word? What does this mean? So we wake up and don't think we're going to have any problems. Come on. We get our coffee, our caffeine to try to right set our day. And we go and we get donuts, and some go to the gym and right side our day, and some sit up and listen to music. And have you ever seen The Secret Lives of Pets? And the owner of the poodle, and when the owner of the poodle left the room, you never watched The Secret Lives of Pets? Hey, I have grandchildren. The Secret Lives of Pets. And and the poodle was all prime and primp. And when his owner closed the door, he hit that button and he was gone. See, you have to realize that a lot of times what you see is not real. And if you're not real, you'll fall into fakeness. And you'll try to pretend to be what other people are, and you will not be true or authentic to yourself. Does this make sense? And the biggest thing that most of us do in person, on broadcast, is we speak to God, but we don't commune with God, and we don't wake up and try to reestablish our covenant with God. We go through this devotional thing, but when do you reaffirm your covenant with God? Because here is the lie to me part. The lie to me part is simple. The lie to me part is, I know enough to fix my own problems. And I'm going to tell him and them and they and Eulams what I think. Come on. What does it say at the latter clause of that if you flip the page back over? They considered themselves to be exempt. How many people are waking up every day because they have a title and a position and feel like they are exempt from the struggles of reality? And do not ever consider spiritual danger. Because of the things we have that gives us a false sense of security. Now, if you look at verse 35 and 36, it sums it up this way: a slave has no security. A believer should not be stuck and struggling with anxiety and struggle. You're not looking well. Ask me why. You have something to trust and believe in that's true. One of the things that lie to us is that we have to face daily challenges alone. How many times do we stop in the middle of the day and pray? How many times when something goes awry or wrong or inefficient or somebody comes up with a lie, how often do we stop in the middle of the day and say, Lord, I see danger. I've heard the warning signs. How many times? Instead, our minds lie to us, and the first thing come out of us is the last thing that need to come out of us. We cursing. Church people cuss. I know they ain't going to admit it, but they do. We get angry. We look at it from the carnal side rather than look at it from the spiritual side, because if the enemy is attacking you, he is saying to you, you have purpose. You just hadn't identified how to get above me. Because you're never going to pray Satan away. He may go get a drink of water. He may go get a cigarette. Okay, but you're not going to pray Satan away. He's going to keep coming back, and he's going to change his suit. So it says 35 and 36, a slave has no security. Why are we frightful if we have God? So let's go back to page 2 where I put it on. We got, what is it? Algorithms, other people's behavior, beliefs. Come on, out of our control. What's on the other side? The future. You caught up on what they said, and if you're accepted by them. If we were spiritually in line with God, you can control your destiny by your covenant with God. Because mankind is open to break their covenant with you at any time. They'll tell you something on Friday and lay you off on Monday. They said, we got all this to do. And come Monday, they don't have nothing for you to do. Now you crying to God about a job that you cried to God to get. Then you cried to God to why you have the job. So now let's look at this. In my control, what is it? What do you think that means? Okay, so what do you say to yourself? We should say, but what does a realistic person say to themselves? Criticizes, I can't do it. Yeah, why me? Why am I dealing with this? I'm tired. Don't nobody understand. First one, come on, let's work this. Yeah, we're going to talk about the kids real quick. So those of y'all that have kids, y'all stick around. It says, my what? My self and self-talk will affect your energy. And your energy will affect your words. Come on. How much are you learning from the people you follow on social media? How are they adding value to the future of your life? Versus how much are they stirring the ignorant pot? I see let me walk around. I follow them. Oh, I watch them every morning. They get me going. Get you going to go where? Get you going to go where? Now let me ask the other question. How are the people you following on social media build your spiritual platform? Because when God wrote this about the truth, he was warning them about spiritual what? Danger. Lie to me tells me I have no danger. I have no enemies. I have no challenges. So when something happens to you, who is the first person you blame? Anybody but what you fed yourself. We blame anybody, anything than what we fed. And listen to what it says. My self-talk. What do you say to yourself? My energy. You dragging through the house looking like somebody? Yeah, hello. New day, new hour, and you dragging through the house like, and I don't even know why I'm going. I gotta have coffee. I gotta have something. I gotta turn on my Secret Life of Pets music, and I gotta get my phone and play a game, and how is it protecting you? Because if it's not protecting you and building you, then it's lying to you. Say, I don't understand. It's still in time from you. Where you should be building up your prayer wall. Instead, you're worried about a response and who liked your posts and what they said. How does it clear your mind for the spiritual dangers that the enemy wants to plant seed in your mind? My words, what do I say? Sometimes our words become our own stumbling blocks. Here is the other one. Myself what? Care. How do I take care of my mental health? How do I take care of my spiritual health? How do I take care of my physical health? I am so worried about what you think about me and how you view me and the status I have that my mental health, my spiritual health, and my physical health are now at risk. Because I'm more worried about your acceptance than being in the right place at the right time with God. Come on, my self-care, and then what's next? I don't have no boundaries. How many of us are rebelling against something that no longer exists in our life? Striking back. Striking back. Still holding an internal, a mental grudge. Can't enjoy today. Over a day that you can't relive. Can't enjoy today over a day that you can't relive. You can't do over what you've lost. But it certainly can affect where you are today. And it's still time because there's no seeds planted. There's no prayer blocks put up. So now we become easy prey for the enemy. What's next? What's your attitude about everything? Can I take you a little deeper this morning? How many of y'all have ever heard this? I don't know if you're old enough. If you heard it, say it with me. Sticks and stones may break my bone. Is that true? How many times have we told our children that? Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words lie to me, lie to me, lie to me. What does it say? Emotional pain is remembered more than physical pain and has more of an effect on our behavior. Emotional pain. The words that come out of our mouth and come out of other people's mouth, we'd rather be slapped. I know somebody got to laughing on Wednesday when I said split your lips and kick you in the hips. Right. How many of us are walking around emotionally disturbed because of what was said or what we said in a rare moment in our life? We got out of character. And people continue to hold that against you. And then you hold it against your... So then your self-care cannot come in and be addressed. We never address our mental health. We never address our spiritual health. We never address our physical health. But yet we put on all the satire. We try to look like kings and queens. Hello, somebody. And just destroy. Because God is not interested in your physical attributes and what you have. He is more concerned about the spiritual danger that is planted in our minds and destroy our connection and covenant with God. Can I take you another step further? We are under and live and function under a false reality that we're not supposed to make mistakes. Say this with me. We're human. Here's what you want to write. Don't focus on the mistakes, just correct them and get better and move on. How much failed things are hanging over your head and hanging over your life? Here's one of the things I'm doing now. I'm trying to develop this in my life. If you can't deposit something positive in me, I cannot associate with you. Because all you're going to do is poison me. And I have enough internal fight with myself than to be around people who take from me and can never deposit into me. So when you talk negative, I have to cut the conversation off because you're fit to put me in a cloud that I can't function in. So I can't see my way, you can't see your way. So you just came over here and spilled all of this I can't do. I don't know what's going on, because this talks about my response. And people can affect and infect your response. Someone can tick you off, and the next person you come in contact with could be someone that can open the door for you, but because you are ticked off and in a bad place, you respond the wrong way. You snap at them. Why are you snapping at somebody trying to help you? Because people are in the bad place in their life, don't let them put you in the bad place. I'll say it again. Don't focus on the mistakes, just correct them, get better, and move on. Here's what we have to really get down to. I'd rather struggle and fail than to struggle and never try. You know where this comes from? When it says here in verse 35 and 36, a slave has no security. The reason the children of Israel couldn't cross over is because they looked at what they thought they were and never established who they were. They had a covenant. Yes, they were the descendants of Abraham, but how many of us are walking around with a polluted mind just thinking I'm exempt? I'm exempt. Oh, you don't know who my dad is. You don't know who my mom is. You don't know what kind of neighborhood I live in. Oh, you don't know who I work for. I work for a Fortune 500 company. False reality. Spiritual danger is everywhere. And the lie that Satan tells us, it is always a one-sided story. What does that mean? We blame God and never take a look at Satan. Anything that happens to us, we blame God. What do we say to ourselves? Go back up here. My word, God don't love me. And then all you need, you ain't in the right place with God. How do you know that God's not developing you? How do you know that God's not restructuring your life? And sometimes to restructure your life, things have to be torn down. But here is the kicker. If we continue to live our lives through events, we can never deal with the reality of our life. Because events are just time capsules. They are for a brief moment, and they set us up to think it's reality. We don't see it as an event. An event is a time capsule. It has a start date. It has an end date. And we're trying to live an image that's temporary. And God is saying, if you go back up here and look at the narrative, the exegesis of the word, he said God had established a permanent covenant. God's not moved by the events in your life. He's not moved by the trouble in your life. He's moved by the worship in your life. He's moved by your prayers, your building block prayers. You don't know how much God would do for you when he see that even though you're having a tough day, you take that little card, the little visitor's card, and you say, hey man, scan this card. What is that saying? God looks for your faithfulness, not your excuses. He looks for your faithfulness. He looks for your loyalty. He looks for your commitment. He looks for out of your mouth my response. And the other one here, and I'm going to switch over to the kids real quick, my boundaries. See, we don't think we have boundaries when we're limited. Most of us can't see the hand of the devil until 25 steps down the road. But yet we done blamed everybody. We done cussed out everybody. We done quit talking to God. Come on, real talk for real people. We believe the lie. We never investigated it. We never heard all sides of the story. Their side, the other side, the truth and the fact. We just run off and assume something. And instead of bettering our lives, false reality tells us to judge everybody else's. Well, they're not where I'm at. They look at them. Look at me. They're single. I'm married. Hell, but are you happy? Yeah, I said it. You always can change the channel. Real talk, real people. Oh, I've been married. What are you? What are you building? What do you have? What are your kinetics? How linked are you? Oh, you got one hanging on a cliff. You got one sitting in a false reality. Because when you know your boundaries, you look for your support. You look for things that can strengthen you. You realize you're limited. See, people take a test and fail and figure they don't like the subject. You take a test and fail because you don't understand the process of the test. Oh, come on, somebody. Talk to your kids. You don't understand the process of your test. Once you get the correct information, then you can. But we use things. I don't like my teacher. Don't like me. They don't like me. I ain't good in math. If you take the time to understand it, you can pass math. And here's the whole thing. Your success don't have nothing to do with what you like. It has to do with what you're capable of achieving. And many people can't achieve because they stuck in what they like. Because when you start to achieve, you have to do this optimal word of sacrifice. And who wants to? It's a hard word. Who wants to sacrifice? Why sacrifice when you can get stuff at the dollar store? Then it's all broke up in the front room. What is there to sacrifice when you can get your favorite meal? You can get your coffee, your caffeine. You can go buy your favorite place. Get your shake on. Get the shake it. Get your shake on. Yeah, get the itching and scratching and going on. No, you don't need that in the drink and it irritates your skin, but you'll scratch and drive at the same time. I mean, you's an addict. My boundaries. Now, we're going to pause on that because I want to go over here and give the parents something. If you flip over, I think it's on the right side, it says Kingdom Wealth Agenda. This is not mine. This is something that was shared with me. I want to share it with you. Do we have a good reader that can read this? And this is for everybody that has a kid.
Kingdom Wealth Agency.
Okay.
Imagine opening an investment growth account for your 5-year-old child.
So now what is that saying? By the time a child is 5, y'all not looking well. Mm-hmm. Now, I didn't tell you to have all them children's. Mm-hmm. By the time a child is 5, grandma, grandpa, mom, dad should what?
You deposit $600 into a minor.
What? I ain't had $600 all year. Because I've been caught up on page number 2 with the things I can't control. See, we want to look like we somewhere and we hadn't built anything. Come on.
You deposit $600 into a minor Roth IRA that earns 10 to 12% over time. Without investing anything else in, your child would have at least $500,000 by the age of 65. That's the power
Hold
of
on. I see Cletus looking. Can I go ahead and throw this one? Some of y'all about to get a tax refund. So don't sit there and say you don't have the money.
Amen.
I'm going to turn the channel. He trying to tell me what to do with my tax refund. I done waited all year to buy a new TV. I got a 75-inch. I want a 90-inch. And my children going to be superstars. I'm going to put them in every sports. And their knees going to be tore up by the time they 15. Come on, read. If you deposit what?
If you deposit $600 into a minor Roth IRA that earns 10 to 12% over time, without investing anything else, your child would have at least $500,000 at the age of 65. That's the power of time and compound interest. Shoot. Add $50 a month, $600 extra a year total investment would be between $5 million and $6 million, depending on how much they put in and how long they wait.
How many people, when they have children, invest in their children rather than survive with their children? This is what other ethnicity groups does. So whichever one you fall in, because they understand for little Johnny, for little Becky, for little Reggie to be successful, their success will not be, as the great Charles Barkley said, and I hand it out, based on their athleticism. They can totally concentrate on getting a sound education and become a judge, a doctor, a dentist, a lawyer, a pharmacist, an engineer. They can focus on something else than trying to be a great athlete. They can have a great mind. Come on, let's read. This is why we're taking a few minutes, because this is important. Come on.
At the age of 18 to 25, your child should take over the $50 a month.
So can we establish by the age of 5, we should literally begin to teach our children about money. If we don't, all our children see is mom and dad struggling to pay bills or complaining about work, so then they never see the value of wealth. Why would they go to work if you depressed going to work? Nah. Can you come up here? Come up here, baby. Come up here, stand by Papa. Because everything I do now, I have children, but everything I do, my focus isn't what I can have. It's to build for these two and for the ones to come. Whether they're born, whether they're adopted, or whether they're fostered. See, when you can show God that it's not about you, then God will bless you up and above in abundance, because he see that you're looking at the next generation. You're not caught up into their proctitude. You're caught up into making sure they have the skills and the necessary things to build their life. Come on and read. So I say to you, as grandparents, so I had to wake up and realize these may not be the only two. I have 2 other daughters. However these kids come in my life, by marriage, our previous child, they are in my family. And if you're all the way to one in need, then nobody will have anything. Come on, let's read this.
Generational financial legacy.
Whoa, the Bible says a good man leaves it in.
Here it is.
What you gonna leave him? Your job? Your problems? Thank you. Younger. Your feelings? What are you going to leave them? And I know, let me say it. Well, ain't nobody leave me nothing. They didn't have the information you have. And what happens if you get older and can't take care of yourself and you didn't teach them how to establish anything? Now, both of y'all sitting down there in an infected place to live. And can I be honest? So this is me now. This is me. I didn't know my children were allergic to roaches. Yeah. What did you tell me today, daughter? And what did your brother tell me today? They literally said to me, now, mind you, I'm 61. My kids are in their 30s. And I'm just not finding out. Yeah, when we took the allergy test, Dad, we found out that we were allergic to roaches. I grew up with family members that had roaches. How it didn't bother me? Or I had a rash and didn't know what it was from. I'm having a time. No, this is real. These last 4 minutes is real. You know, and they're telling me, my son's like, yeah, Dad, when we had our allergy test, you know, it said that we were allergic to roaches. I'm like, my babysitter had roaches. Didn't nobody take me and get no allergy test. You had to itch and sniff and go on. And she said she's still dealing with it because she had to go to a place that wasn't necessarily the problem. So here's my point. If you don't change, you can change your culture. Come on, let's read this.
Generational financial legacy being changed and financial curses ended. If you would like to see...
Whoa, what does that mean? Come on, Pastor. What does that mean, Pastor? Well, that means you don't have to look the part. You actually can live the part. Yeah. You don't have to look like... You don't have to get pumped up by what other people. And you don't have to compare yourself to. Because now you have created and creating generational what? And somebody who is creating generational wealth now can leave a legacy. So as you get older and you're in decline, you have set a principle in your life and in your family. And so your offspring and your nieces and your nephews will have a blueprint and they can assist you so then you don't wind up living good and then going out on a bad note. Because then people use money for more than survival. If you're just making money to pay bills, then you're not making money. Come on, this is my time. Come on, let's finish reading this. Generational finance legacy.
Generational financial legacy being changed and financial curses ended. If you would like to see this yourself, get a hold of us and we can calculate it together based on your kid's age and how much you want to invest.
Okay. This is something, I think it's from Kingdom Wealth Agenda. I think it was something on social media. It was sent to me. I think it's awesome. It gets people to think. And the other part, I always tell people this. It says how to invest $1,000. I tell people for the real level of entrepreneurship, the first thing you got to do is learn to invest in you. And you can buy these things with $1,000, but it doesn't equate. And let me explain it to you real quick. It doesn't equate. You can invest. But you only get pennies on your investment, and your investment is tied up for years before it amounts to anything. You get the book, Basic Financial Steps. Some of us, this is the older cover. This is the new cover, all right? This book will teach you how to create all of those. But it will not teach you to give your money to someone else to get pennies from your money. It will talk to you about the levels and skill sets that you have and how you can generate additional income. That is Basic Financial Steps by Reginald Campell. Because a lot of people had this book, and this is the first release. Same information, they just created a new cover for it and brought it up to more modern. So the question is, as we get ready to close this, is how are you building your mindset? This is why this book, which you can get a Mind of a Champion, and it all starts with your mindset. It does. You can get it at www.atotalu.org. This is a good book and a good read for everybody. This is by Reginald Campell, PhD. It is a good book that's doing very, very well. If you want to know how to change your life rather than to continue to talk about your life, because what people don't realize, you're the seed of Abraham. God looks at you more spiritually and your spiritual growth, because he has put in the earth what should take care of your financial growth. Let me say that again. God is concerned with your spiritual growth because he has put in the earth what should include and bring your financial growth. Does that make sense? So are there any questions? Lie to me, lie to me, lie to me. We're going to deal with the third part of lie to me on Wednesday. So come be a part of the service, because we're going to talk about let me find it real quick. The dangerous group you live around, because they don't know and see who you really are. Lie to me, lie to me, lie to me. God bless you. I'll see you soon.